Hello, welcome to another Golden Throne painting tutorial. This week we are painting black piping and general black areas on a Chaos Space Marine, specifically a Wordbearer's Chaos Space Marine. The paints we'll be using this week is Abaddon Black, Corvus Black, Mechanicus Standard Grey, Dawnstone and Dryad Bark. Okay, first paint we're actually using, despite this being a black tutorial, is Corvus Black. Apologies for the slightly overblown lighting on this video. For some reason the camera wanted to illuminate the whole scene as brightly as it has. It does calm itself down quite soon, and it gets better towards the end of the video. So first up, mix yourself a good mix of 50-50 water and Corvus Black, and then you're going to be painting everywhere on the model that you think should be black piping. So as you can see, I'm doing the torso here, and I'm doing the pipes leading out of the grill mounted on his chest and up over his shoulders. You'll want to try and be as neat as you can with this. You've already done quite a bit of work on the armour and the metal trim now, so again, nothing you do can't be fixed, but you don't want to be making work for yourself. Next up is Abaddon Black. This time you're going to be using it to shade the recesses of the piping. So make sure the consistency is probably about 70% water to 30% black paint. Your mileage will vary on this. You just need to be able to use it as if you were using a wash. It's just the way the paint settles between the cracks is better than using, say, Nuln Oil or something else. Although I haven't tried using contrast paints for this process. I imagine they act fairly similarly to the Nuln Oil, and you just get a little bit more precision, a little bit more control, I find, with using the black paint. You'll want to try again to be as careful as you can with this part. You're trying to pick out the details in between each individual bit of pipe. It's the same on the holster. You'll want to be adding some shade around the different straps and where he's got the leather which is attaching these holster to his hip. Okay, once you're finished with the black, you're then going to start off with Mechanicus Standard Grey. As with the previous paints, about a 50-50 mix of Mechanicus Standard Grey and water. You're then going to get a small amount on the tip of your brush, and you're going to be picking out the individual ridges of each pipe. Apologies that you can't see some of the detail when I'm painting sometimes. Still just trying to find that golden angle for the camera and to be able to actually paint with any sort of precision whilst making these tutorials. So bear with me, it does get better. This process is very similar to what you've already done with the red armour and the silver trim. You're basically just picking out the edges. It's just edge highlighting. You want to do a fairly thick highlight with this one, fairly watered down, fairly thick highlight. Again, if you go over any of the details like the leather straps or anything like that, you can always fix it. Try being neat, but you know, don't worry too much, you can fix it. The next paint you're going to be using is Dawnstone. In much the same way that we've just done with Mechanica Standard Grey, you're going to be using this to highlight the raised ridges on any piping or any areas of black that you've chosen to paint as black. The key to this one again is try and be as neat as you can. A little bit of brush control helps with this one, but you're not trying to paint the entire ridge this time, you're just trying to paint where you think the light would hit, the most obvious parts, so obviously anywhere which is more exposed to the light, and generally speaking the tips. So don't do the whole thing, you're just trying to get a slight gradient of a darker grey to a lighter grey. As many of you noticed, by the way, this the actual black cabling isn't black, it is really a dark grey, and that's because things in nature and in the world don't tend to be completely black. If they're just painted completely black, they look a little bit weird and artificial and unnatural, and even things that are artificial and aren't natural especially if you're a Chaos Space Marine. They'll be dirty, they'll be slightly worn, exposed to sunlight, so it tones the actual black down, so it looks more like grey, a little bit like faded jeans or something like that. You don't want your Chaos Space Marines looking like they're wearing brand new war gear and equipment. This is just, I think I've done another video on painting black, but this is quite a neutral black. It's just I wouldn't even say it's particularly warm, it's just fairly neutral. It's using just greys. We do add a little bit of brown to it for shading later on, just to show how it would be dirt and there'd be a little dirt in the recesses. But for now, we're just sticking with our dog. Okay, the final step is going to be with Dryad Bark. This is a very muted brown. You're going to be using about 80% water to 20% paint. You really want a really watery brown. You're going to be using this as a kind of glaze to go in between the pipes. So as you can see, I'm going right down the sides of this pipe, and just to show where the dirt is accumulating over the centuries this guy's been in warfare. This isn't new armour, this is dirt clinging to the insides of the little rivet areas. You can go as nuts or as, liberal, or as conservative with this as you like. I like to use it as a kind of half shade, half glaze, and it just has like a dusty quality to the overall texture, which helps to make the cabling pop a little bit. You can, if you wish, also go a little bit crazy with the highlights on the grey or the black. You can put much lighter, like an Administratum grey, on it as a final highlight. But again, you are painting, these are your troops, so don't go too crazy. And there you go, this is the finished miniature, or the finished body part. We're now going to repeat this process on the shoulder pad, and well, I'm not sure if there's much on the shoulder pad, but the shoulder pad, the backpack, and the helm. Well, there we go, that's the last of the different sub-assembled parts. This is the helm. As you can see on the helm, some of the detail has already worn off a little bit, just from the shading and the process of painting the other parts. We are going to return to the helm in a later video, just to bring out those highlights again. And that's it. That's the third video in this series. From myself and producer Dave, thank you very much for watching. And if you like what we're doing, give us a like and a subscribe.